Well, it's official. University of Kentucky swimmer Riley Gaines was in Charleston on Wednesday alongside West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey to sign into law the Riley Gaines Act.
So for more on this big win for women in sports, let's welcome in West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey. Good morning, Governor. So the text of the measure states women's restrooms, sleeping quarters, locker rooms, and other private facilities are for the sole use of women to prevent abuse, harassment, sexual assault, and violence committed by men. I'm not sure how this could be controversial, and nor should it have needed a separate law to define.
Well, you're exactly right. And thank you so much for having me on this morning. This is basic common sense. As I said, all the years that I was Attorney General, you shouldn't have to be in court defining men and women or ensuring that men aren't playing sports with women or that women don't have their own safe places, locker rooms, domestic violence shelters. These are the basics. And that's what we're doing in West Virginia. We're returning to the basics. We're rejecting radical gender ideology, which I think has been creeping across the country. But thank goodness, not only for the West Virginia legislature, but for all the people who have been standing up for women, including Riley Gaines. I think there's no person across the country that's been more responsible for restoring sanity to the sports scene, because people saw in real time how badly she was treated on stage. And I think that's when the movement began to turn. And that's why I'm so proud that we've been able to name this basic common sense law after her.
And I know that when you signed the law, you said you were inspired by the story of a 14-year-old shot put athlete named Emmy Salerno. So I know Emmy and her teammates decided not to participate in their middle school championship event 2 years ago because they had to compete against a transgender athlete. Can you walk us through why this story inspired you?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, there still are problems that occur in West Virginia now because of the legal status of the cases. We're very hopeful that the U.S. Supreme Court is going to rule our way. But when this case first started to develop, there is a male that's playing sports with women. And these brave young women came forward and said, we're not going to participate with the male. And they said no, and they walked off in protest, and they were disqualified. But the most important thing is they showed the bravery, the courage of their convictions to say, even at their age, they knew men are men, women are women, and it was grossly, grossly unfair to have a male start to displace women in all of these categories. We thought that was wrong. I was inspired. Emmy came to the state that we had just a few weeks ago. I think people know she's going to be a great young woman. People don't realize that women's sports has the opportunity to give women leadership opportunities that they use later in life. So this is an exciting time, and the kids were stronger than most of the adults around.
Yeah, I mean, it's really remarkable. I know earlier this morning we were talking about how we just got the NCAA brackets out for both the men and the women. We saw what was going on, is the explosion in interest in women's basketball last year, the WNBA, and it just seems unconscionable that people still don't get the fact that biological men and women together competing alongside, it's just not fair for biological women.
And it's not safe either.
Well, look, it's not fair. I think most of America gets this, but you get a couple of the radical sorts, probably about 15% of the public, that they're going to hold on to this, and we're going to always reject that. And West Virginia is going to lead the way with common sense. We're going to lead the way in terms of defining men and women. We're going to lead the way in terms of our energy development, everything. We're now in a good position to start to move forward. The only thing I would say, because you mentioned NCAA tournament, is the Mountaineers really got hurt. What a ridiculous call to not put them in the NCAA men's basketball tournament. I have to say that. This is outrageous. A little home cooking going on in North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
That never happens in basketball.
While I have you here, and speaking of messaging, what's your message to leaders of other states? Like, I'm thinking of the governor of Wisconsin, Tony Evers, who in his statewide budget proposal changed the term mother to inseminated person. Just about 30 seconds left.
Yeah, look, this is unbelievable, right? I joked at the signing ceremony about whether they're going to send me a bill in West Virginia about inseminated a person. This is ridiculous. Use plain terms to define it. There are men, there are women. I think these people are off their rockers. I mean, the reality is you have to return to basics. It's common sense. And they're so trying to appeal to this radical group, this small group of people. I don't think that's right. We won't stand for that in West Virginia. And so I'm just excited. We're going to have a couple good laws in this area that'll make a big difference. People should come to West Virginia. It's the home of common sense.
And I just hope that there's no Hallmark cards that say Happy Inseminated Persons Day this May.
We are not going to do a happy inseminated day card.
Not in West Virginia.
I promise you that.
All right, West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey, thanks for joining us. Hope you come back.
Thank you.